Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I am your host, Dennis Patholkas, and this is iZombie Season 5, Episode 6, The Scratchmaker. Ah, this wasn't uh, the worst episode out of this season. It was pretty bad, I'll have to admit. But it wasn't the worst because it actually advanced some of the plot of the main story. The overall main story, I should say, for the season. So, before I start, I'm going to say spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the episode, you're really, really lucky, actually. Um, I'm going to go over it fairly quickly. I am going to spoil the episode, though, so this will be a video if you are going to chance it and go and watch it anyway, and you can comment down below in the comment section. So, yeah, crap, that was just bad. So basically, this is all about Blaine in this episode. He had been arrested, of course, for after Al's article about killing the mayor and all that kind of stuff. And it- the murder that happens, you don't even see the murder. You don't even realize there actually was a murder. It's so quick, it's a blink and you miss it moment of this matchmaker. Oh, no problem, Joker. You didn't miss anything, quite honestly. It wasn't great. So you are really, really not missing much on this one. Um, yeah, it was bad. Like I said, the only thing that saved this was it actually advanced the plot of the main story, for the most part. Um, Essentially, now that Blaine is in jail, the brain supply is dried up. Stacy Boss comes back, and we find out that Stacy Boss, Al, is actually Stacy Boss's niece. And so this whole thing was a coordinated attack against Blaine to get him out of this business so they can kick Blaine out so they can make more money. That's really all this is completely in a nutshell. Um, so Stacy comes back and he tries to get Donnie to come in on this with him, and basically they're going to cut Blaine out completely and make more money, and also squeeze more money out of Seattle and the zombies. Not really recycling the storyline. It's more they kind of advanced it a little bit in some ways, and I'll get to that in a second. So we also find out that Dolly Durkins, one of her son, is actually part of Major's crew on Fillmore Graves because he's a zombie. And she hates zombies, of course, and she's spreading the truth that now that the brain supplies have dried up, they only have 48 hours of brain tubes left in Seattle. So Penn Farm Girl says, I thought it was an okay episode. I like that they brought back Mr. Boss. Um, yes and no. They really just need to let that character die, to tell you the truth. He doesn't really. I understand where they're going with this on this one, but at some points he was actually playing, yeah, it's the guy from Ocean's 11, exactly. Uh, he was actually deferring to Donnie at some point there and letting Donnie push him around, and I was like, "Wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be like the big boss guy? So why in the hell are you deferring to Donnie?" The writing in this was so fucking uneven. The storyline was uneven. I mean, even the murder, that happened off screen, and the confession, which I guess you could call it a confession because again, it was a blink and you miss it kind of thing. And we don't even know why, because this matchmaker introduced her son to a zombie. That was the reason why she killed him. And it's like, all right, that's why she killed the matchmaker. And we don't even get any of the fun asides with Liv having a matchmaker brain. We didn't get that much from it. It was a really lackluster episode. Again, this is the Z team that was writing this one. It's a really shitty. At least it didn't have the politics in it. Thank God. It wasn't the really heavy-handed politics that they had going on from before. There is another callback actually, which I thought was kind of funny. Was Blaine is in prison and saying that they have the edited for TV version of Snakes on a Plane on TV on loop, and you just can't edit out Samuel Jackson, of course, and the whole melon scratcher thing. which I thought was funny. That uh, is kind of a callback, if I remember correctly, to season 4, or excuse me, season 3 on that one, which I thought was pretty funny. There was a whole episode devoted to that about Yippee Ki Melon Scratcher. Yeah. So then we also have the thing about the Fralick brains as well, and Blaine is trying to make some money. Donnie, of course, lies to Blaine that they're out of the brain business now, and really Donnie's in business now with Mr. Boss, with Stacy Boss, and we also have Major going to basically kind of like a Jeff Bezos kind of guy, and he owns Euphrates. It's a delivery company, kind of like Amazon, and he's of course rolling in money. And they have him they put up billboards, basically saying that he's going to be the one shipping in the brains, so that they can actually bring Donnie and Mr. Boss are just basically waiting for the brain supplies to dry up, even though they're the ones that are actually supplying them to Blaine in the first place. So they're trying to extort Seattle for double the money. Again, it was very convoluted and very fast going through that episode. They didn't really explain themselves. It was almost kind of like watching a movie again. This might be the end joke on this. Who knows? That was fucking really edited out. Like you took out 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, another 5 minutes there, where you're actually taking out the plot. And that's actually how this episode played out. It played out like something that had been heavily edited for television, and you weren't getting the full story. It was just a very weird episode. Um, I mean, Blaine goes to visit Al at one point because he gets out of jail on bail, and he goes to threaten her. And of course, she's not taking any of his shit. She basically tells him who he is, and he zombies out, and he's going to lunge for her, and she pulls out a gun on him, and we see that she's a zombie as well. So yeah, this whole thing was just kind of weird. So in the end of it, we see that in order to make some money, what does Blaine do? He remembers hearing about the Fralick brains, because his cure, his syringes that Ravi had made are gone. The dumb guy from the bar, actually, Donnie had put him in charge to go and clean out the safe, Blaine's safe, which of course had the cure in there. And he, of course, dumped them over the bridge when the cops pulled him over. So, yeah. So, what does Blaine do? Blaine just freaks out and kills the guy, which, is what you're going to do. And so, in order to make money, he remembers about the Fralick brains. He finds a girl that has Fralick brain in Seattle, and he makes her a deal that he will pay her family 500,000 dollars for her brain after she dies. What does he do? He brings her to another rich guy, and who's, I guess, a zombie, and says, "Now, part of the contract is if you want her brain," he goes, "I'll kill her for you. Otherwise, she's just going to live here with you because that's part of the contract that you just signed. And but I'll do it for extra money," is what he says. So this guy is going to pay Blaine money so that he kills the girl so that he can have the Fralick brain. Yeah. Penn Farm Girl says, "I knew something was up with Al when she was so smug and not afraid. I didn't expect the actual twist with who she was related to." Yeah, and the way they did it so nonchalantly was they kind of just rushed through it and did it like, "Hey, Uncle, Uncle Boss, Uncle Stacy, how's it going?" And then they just kind of went to another scene. Again, it was like pieces were taken out of this whole thing, and it was very slapdash, very, very slapdash, really badly done. Again, the only reason why I haven't killed killed the reviews for this is it actually advanced the plot of the story. It really did. We also have dead enders posing as coyotes, sneaking into Renegades group as well. So these are people that are working for Dolly Durkins again, and Liv has brought them in. Of course, they've passed the coyote test, and of course, they passed the final test of drinking this vodka that's infused with ghost pepper. That's what you're supposed to do to feel the burn, I guess you will. And yeah, it just, I don't know. This whole episode really just sucked overall for me. Um, We also get Clive as acting lieutenant now that Dale is out on maternity leave because I guess, she's out, till the end of the season, most likely. And that's where we pretty much end up was with Blaine getting ready to kill this girl for this millionaire or whoever the rich guy is. So, not the greatest endorsement of things on this episode. Um, I would like to say it was better, but for me, it was I'd say a 4 out of 10 on this one. Not that great. So, I know you liked it a little bit better pen than I did, but yeah, yeah, you thought it was an okay episode, but yeah. Pen Farm Girl says I thought the coyote mole was sent by the military guy who took the thought out soldiers. Oh, that's right. He did. Okay, I thought it was the coyotes. I mean the dead enders. I take that back. You're right. Again, it was stuff that was kind of going flying by really, really quickly. They didn't really explain it, and they just kind of threw it out there. So yes, you're right. The mole was sent by the military guy who thought out the soldiers. So they were zombies that were posing as humans. That's what it was. That's what I thought it was at first, but again, it flew by really quick, especially when you're taking notes and something just kind of flashes up on the screen there for a second. Oh, sorry, I just dropped something. That's all. I was wondering what it was. Nothing important. Yeah, it's still a mystery what he's up to. Yeah, we don't know exactly what he's up to. Basically, he's gonna destroy renegades. Something's gonna happen where they're gonna blame some deaths of children on Renegade, is what that they're gonna do. Yes, there is a lot of news, Joe Greer. I know there is a lot of news this week, and I may wait until Saturday. I may not. You might see something pop up here later on. Who knows? We'll see. Especially about one thing in particular. So Slurmy Scott says, "Hi, Penn and Joe. Don't watch the show. What's new?" Yeah, there's what news? There's a whole bunch of news, Slurmy. It's what I've been posting on Facebook. So yeah, yeah, lots and lots of cancellations. That's all I can say. And I called two of them. I did not see the third one coming. I mean, that third one was just way out of the left field and out of the blue. Swamp Thing, yes, the Swamp Thing one. That one I didn't see that one coming at all. But I don't think a lot of people did. I did call a couple things right, but I'll get to that at some other point in time, just not here. This one's going to be a short one, folks. It's because again, like I said, the episode wasn't great, and it moved a couple things along, but we didn't get anything. That was the other thing was to Major talking to the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So remember that one of the generals, Blaine, had kidnapped his daughter, and so she's in Seattle now as a zombie. And that was the one that was dissenting against, nuking the city. He was like, "Oh, we still have that stockpile of brains that we can give them." And that was the whole thing is you have to remember a lot about the past seasons of what's happened so far, and they cribbed a lot of shorthand for this instead of reminding people even at the beginning, man. If you just did it in the previously on and did just a few little things just to kind of remind people what the fuck was going on, because even me, I've seen this whole thing. And Penn Farmer says, Dennis, do you think they'll end the series by nuking the city? No, they're going to end the series by having a cure. They're going to have a cure at the end. They're not going to go with the dark. I mean, I would highly doubt that Rob Thomas would end it with a downer on that. Black Mirror is back. Dennis, not a big fan. Not really. I don't know what it is, Joe Greer. I'm not a fan of Black Mirror. It just doesn't really do anything for me. I think I'm kind of over my anthology series stuff. It really, I mean, I used to like it. I used to like those kind of anthology series, but not anymore for some reason. I don't know what it is. So, yeah. Um, I know Happy and Swamp Thing. What's the other one? It was Deadly Class, Pen Farm Girl. Deadly Class was the third one. So, Deadly Class and Happy got canceled on the same day, actually the same announcement, and then Swamp Thing was today. So yeah, kind of a sucky couple of days for, a couple TV series. And honestly, it just goes without saying, sci-fi just sucks. Yeah. Um, yeah. But The Magicians is still going. Yeah, that was me falling asleep watching The Magicians. So, and I believe it got the same, actually got less, if I remember correctly, the Magicians had less of a ratings than Deadly Class did. So, yeah. Quentin is dead. We don't know for sure. And again, like I said, I've got some news about that too. Uh, yeah, exactly, Slurmy. Why? Well, there's reasons for that. And again, I'm not going to get into it here, but I will probably uh, do something, maybe even a little bit later. Who knows? I don't know if I might do something at at the moment. Yeah, I like the take on me send off as well. Exactly. Pen Farm Girl says my cable provider allowed us to watch the first 3 episodes of Warrior without subscribing to Cinemax. Now I need a subscription to see the rest. I told you, it's really good, isn't it? It's actually very well done. The same guy, Troper, did Banshee, and Banshee was a great series. I mean, just a fantastic series. I can't cover Warrior now, Joe Greer. It's too far along, and also it's not really genre. I mean, I would like to, but it's just too far along. I mean, we're in episode 9 as of tomorrow, or 10. Is 10? Yeah, it's 10. So, yeah. You're not into kung fu, but you're liking it. Yeah. It's not genre, but it is damn good. Yeah. I have to admit they did a good job of it. What I really liked about it was, and actually I introduced a friend of mine to it too, and she kind of got into it as well, is the when people are talking Mandarin and then they switch over to English, and how they do it, they kind of revolve the camera around the actors, and as they're talking Mandarin, it switches over to English. So they're still supposedly speaking Mandarin, but the actors are speaking English for our benefit. And same thing, they do the same thing. They'll wrap it back around where they're speaking English and then wrap it back around to Mandarin again and put the subtitles back up, which is really kind of cool. Yeah. Stormy Scott says, I miss the days when you just turn on the TV and watch shows. It's so complicated now. It really is. I mean, if you're going to invest some time into it, again, I go by the whole thing of they just need to just go with a planned season, maybe 3 seasons, something like that. Have a start, beginning, middle, and end, and that's how they pitch it. If it catches on, it catches on. If it doesn't, then you can kill it, but still you have that 3, and then if someone really if something really takes off, you do another chapter of it, and you do another 3 seasons and do it that way, and it's a complete story that way. I don't know, maybe it's just too logical. 3 channels of the network of the stars, yes. I don't miss those days of 3 channels either, because that was when you had to get up and change the dial. You know, we also had local TV shows up in, TV stations up in San Francisco where I was at. So yeah, back to iZombie for a moment. Exactly. Some of the corny music made me laugh tonight. You mean Afternoon Delight? Yeah. Afternoon Delight was kind of funny. It I don't know, man. This show really is just going back and forth between the really good episode was episode 3. That was the dance, the dance one, and that felt like an old episode. So I'm fairly sure that's what happened, was that the old writers came back for that one, and then episode 4 sucked. Episode 5 kind of bounced back a little bit, and then of course episode 6 here that we're in right now sucked. So I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what they're doing. It's not like they're in the final season here. Not like they are trying. It's like I know Rob Thomas is supposed to be working on other stuff, but damn man, just end it and put a little effort into it. Show that you actually care about the show and end it. So end it right. Finale is soon. The finale for iZombie is on August 1st. That's what I read. So they're going to take, of course, July 4th off, and they're going to end it on August 1st. Their drug dealer must have gone on vacation. They just brought in the Z team. Quite honestly, they put in the not even the third stringers. They brought in the bottom of the barrel stringers, and they're having them write some shit. And yeah, you can tell they have a long way to go before they actually know what the fuck they're doing. So, with that said, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button down here. Also, hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, hit the dislike button. But go ahead and in the comments section, give me a little constructive criticism about what you didn't like. That way, I learn a little bit more about what you want. And if you want to see what I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell. Don't hit the bell if you've already hit it before because it will unclick it. You can actually go into the settings of the bell and get as many or as little notifications as you want. And it's still a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you when I'm on live again. It doesn't work all the time. It's just the way YouTube is. If you are still on the fence about me, joining up and subscribing, you're going to see a video pop up here. This video is actually going to be taken from my video library, my vast video library of a basically based on what you've been watching on YouTube. All that nasty stuff you've been watching, YouTube keeps track of it. And they use an algorithm which will pluck a video from my video library and pluck it up here. Also, the latest video that I've done is going to be up in this area over here. There you go. All for you. Also, if you want to see what my schedule is, because I do have schedules throughout the week, it's going to be up on suspendedfanimation.com. It's also up on Facebook. And I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon, but I don't have tiers set up because I'm working and I don't know what the hell I want to put in my tiers as of yet. So I'll get to that at some point in time. With that said, so tomorrow is going to be Swamp Thing, the now canceled Swamp Thing. Uh, Saturday is Saturday morning blast off. It might actually get moved to a little bit of an earlier time than 10:30 a.m. And Sunday is blank at the moment. Monday is the Tick. Tuesday is also blank, and Wednesday is actually the real season premiere of Krypton, because I was an idiot and thought that it started this week when it's actually next week that it starts. So there we go. Because even I make mistakes. Well, actually, I make quite a few mistakes, but there we go. Don't tell anybody about that. Pen Farm Girl says I was relieved to see tonight didn't get canceled when I checked the schedule. Yeah, I thought about it, but yeah, mm, they advanced the plot a bit more, so that was the only reason why. It was a bad one though. It was definitely a bad one. Wasn't as bad as episode 1 and 2, but it was bad. So nice remark about the AMC show. You mean that it was as bad as The Passage? And yeah, I couldn't. I was trying everything I could to watch it, and I couldn't. I just could not get into Nosferatu. Nosferatu was just bad. And I wasn't gonna hate watch it and basically be down on it because if I did a review of that one, you would have seen basically what I've been talking about that I don't want to do is hate watching it. So I don't know, Joe. It didn't have anything going for it as far as I was concerned. I didn't care about the characters. They didn't make me want to care about the characters, and the story was boring. I mean, it was a Stephen King story. Is really what it was. It was a boring Stephen King story, and the only thing was it wasn't taking place in Maine for once. That's all it was. Actually, no, I take that back. It was taking place in Maine. So fuck it. It was taking place in Maine. So there you go. You don't get AMC where you live right now? Yeah, you're lucky. That's fine. You didn't have to see it. The book was better. Shocking statement. That it wasn't that good, or that it was just boring. Pen Farm Girl. Yeah, it just it didn't float my boat. It really didn't. But then again, I'm not the biggest Stephen King fan either. I know, blasphemy. I actually took a break from Stephen King movies, um, because there were just too many of them at one point in time, and I was like, "Yep, I don't need to watch any more of them anymore." Yeah, and so I believe it was a 5-year hiatus that I took off of Stephen King movies. I would literally avoid them. Did you read Snow Crash, Dennis? I think I did, Joe, back in college for a when it first came out for something. I can't remember what it was. It was, I think, a humanities class. I again, yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. But with that said, thank you all who joined me here in the chat. Joker the Third, Pen Farm Girl, Slurmy Scott, and I think that was it, right? We didn't have anybody else who showed up. Nope, that was it. Just three people. Sorry, it couldn't have been a better episode. And I know this is going to get really that many views. A lot of people aren't watching the show anyway, as it is, because they know it's dead and it's dying. It's limping along. It's really shambling along like a zombie. Is really what it's doing. Walking Dead jumped the farm a long time. They got stuck on the farm a long, long time ago, Joker. I stopped watching that. I tried watching a little bit of last season, and wow, that was just a horrible show. I mean, you have your main characters leave, and or you make them leave, and yeah, just not worth it. But with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the evening. Thank you for staying up this late for those of you on the East Coast. And yeah. Joe, hey, how's it going, Joe? Wednesday should be what happens in the shadows. All who yeah. Well, what happens in the shadows is ended. So it's too far along, and yeah, I just, you know, didn't get along. It didn't fall in line with what I had going on. So Happy was going on, and of course got canceled. So what I'm doing is, I guess, is any show that I am covering ends up getting canceled from what it looks like. So I'm that's why I'm doing Krypton on Wednesdays, to see if maybe I can cancel that too. Obviously. When is Legion? Legions is going to be on Monday, June 24th. So basically, when the tick ends, my reviews of the tick ends, the next week after that is when Legion begins. That's right. Yes, that is right, Joker. It is going to be a big Monday lead. Yeah. Yep. 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 All right. So take a look at the video if you're still on the fence up here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thank you, and thank you out there that are just watching this for the first time, or maybe just kind of joining in. And come by on Saturdays. Saturday morning blast off's a lot of fun. That's where I take the genre news of the week and talk about that and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. So, Venture Brothers DVD June 11th. You mean this, Joe? That guy right there. That is season 7 right there. Venture Brothers. I got that like 3 weeks ago, I think is what it was, something like that. All I did was I ordered it on Amazon. Don't ask me how I got it. It just showed up after I ordered it. So I think they might have made a mistake and released a little bit of them early. Yeah. It happens sometimes. Yeah. All right, guys. I know those of you on the East Coast are getting ready to go to sleep right now, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for the now canceled Swamp Thing. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may wind up in a very poorly written episode of iZombie, which actually isn't that hard to do now in season 5. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Oops.